The standard I chose for this assignment was 2ETS1.1. Define a simple problem that can be solved through the development of a new or improved object or tool by asking questions, making observations, and gathering accurate information about a situation people want to change. The reason I chose this standard is that I love inventing things, and I always have since the first invention I ever made. When I was in second grade, I had the privilege of engaging with this standard as one of my most formative lessons, but I also remember there were some problems with the lesson. The teacher gave us a problem as the standard requires, but the problem was too complex for anyone at the second grade level to solve with a meaningful solution. In fact, I believe that nearly all problems, no matter how simple, are too complex for a second grader to solve without a specific type of scaffolding. That type of scaffolding is something my class was not given in my second grade. But when I practice this standard, so it is my goal to provide students with the information I wish I had, how to structure my mind. So my objective is that students will be able to use and understand their own mind in novel ways. Thus, phi phenomenon is the abstract optimal structure of thought to solve problems. Of course, this phenomenon is a little complex, so I would phrase it to the second graders like this. How should you think to solve problems? I will start out by writing their ideas down on the board and asking them to brainstorm different methods of strategies they use to solve problems. I will scaffold their ideas toward the fact that all problem solving boils down to knowledge and strategies. I will give them some examples of things that they know, such as the fact that they had just learned in the previous lesson. I will give them some examples of strategies that they could use in their other classes to solve problems, such as recognizing that a math word problem that uses the syntax how many more will likely require you to subtract. I will then try to make clear that learning this strategy is actually shaping the way they think. I will ask them to come up with some strategies that they use in their lives to solve problems. I will then tell them that you can always get better at something if you increase your knowledge and try new strategies. At this point in the lesson, I will introduce the students to what I think the central dogma of inventing is. First, you must solve a problem. Then, once you have solved it, you think about how you solved it by asking yourself these questions. Why did the solution work? And how can I use this strategy somewhere else? I personally use these questions and a few more to run my mental software, and they seem to work pretty well for me. Once you have asked yourself these questions and given your best answers to them, go on to another problem. I will model this technique with a simple problem. I will project a picture of two dogs on the screen with the caption, "How many dogs are there?" I will ask someone in the class to solve the problem, answering 2. I will then pose the two questions of inventing to the class. I will scaffold them toward the answers that this strategy worked because the problem said, "How many of something are there?" And this will always mean counting. I will then ask the students where else they could use this strategy. I will scaffold the students with an example. Of solving the problem. How many students in the room are there? At this point, I will get to my formative assessment. I will pose my students a scientific problem that is in their zone of proximal development and ask them to solve it using the two-question technique to generate knowledge and strategies. I will ask them to solve a slightly harder problem using what they learned from the first problem. I will show the class a foam ball and a light. I will put the ball in front of the light, spin the foam ball, and ask the students why only one side can be lit. Next, I will hand out worksheets that have a diagram of the sun in the top right corner of this slide, making day and night. They will ask why there are days, then it will ask why there are days and nights. The two questions of inventing will be up on the board for them to reference while solving this problem. At the end of the lesson, I will tell the students that because of something they learned just now, they were able to solve a problem that they could not have solved before. That is the heart of inventing, and that is my fact of the day.